Israel calls Iran an existential threat. America calls it a state sponsor of terrorism. And Western media portrays Iran as an evil shadow ready to destroy the world with nuclear bombs. But the world seems to have amnesia. They forget that it was Israel that helped Iran build that power. They forget that it was the United States that once made Iran a military, economic, and intelligence ally in the Middle East. And even crazier, when Iran started its nuclear project, technical assistance actually came from Israel. Today, Iran is the first country in the world to openly attack Israel from its own territory. And that fear, which now grips Israel and the United States, is the fruit of the seeds they sowed decades ago. Long before the term Little Satan became Iran's permanent label for Israel, the two countries had a deep, complex, and embarrassing relationship that would be shameful to reveal today. When Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was still on the throne, Iran was the pride of the United States, an anti-communist, modern, and highly strategic stronghold in the heart of the Muslim world. And because of that, Israel chose Iran as its secret ally. They shared more than just interests. They shared technology, weapons, intelligence, and even nuclear ambitions. Furthermore, SAVAK, Iran's brutal intelligence agency during the Shah's reign, was formed and trained directly by Israel's Mossad and the CIA. Not many people know that in the late 1970s, Israel and Iran collaborated on a secret military project called Project Flower. In this project, Israel helped Iran develop ballistic missiles and anti-ship missile technology that could allegedly be used for nuclear weapons platforms. Israel even supplied control systems, radars, and launchers derived from American technology. However, the collaboration did not start there. As early as the 1960s, Iran began construction of the Bushehr nuclear reactor, and at that time, technical support came not only from West Germany, but also from Israeli scientists and technicians who were sent secretly. They assisted with the cooling system, fuel processing, and initial construction. Even more astonishingly, Israeli intelligence at that time even directly monitored the progress of the Bushehr project and provided regular reports to Mossad and the Israeli Ministry of Defense. Why? Because they saw Iran's nuclear program as something they could control. While the Arab world criticized Iran for getting close to the Zionists, Israel held the Shah's hand tightly, quietly, but hopefully. In fact, in several closed meetings, the Shah was said to be ready to open official diplomatic relations with Israel, if the Islamic Revolution did not explode first. But history always has a way of surprising the world. And when a man in a black robe returned from exile in Paris, the entire axis of power collapsed in a matter of months. Iran was ablaze. SAVAK was disbanded. The Israeli embassy was taken over and turned into the Palestinian embassy. And the relationship that had been built with money, technology, and political smiles turned into a historical grudge that remains unresolved to this day. In the winter of 1979, a revolutionary explosion shook the Persian world. But this was not just a political upheaval. It was a historical earthquake that tore apart the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East and changed the face of Iran forever. The Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who had been considered the guardian of regional stability by the United States and Israel, finally fell. He fled, replaced by a figure in black robes who had been living in exile in Paris, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini.
And we will never help Israel. We will cut off our diplomatic relation.
From that moment on, everything changed. The Zionist flag was taken down from the roof of the Israeli embassy in Tehran. The building was stormed, sealed, and within a few days, symbolically handed over to representatives of the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO. Not only that, the main street in the city center, formerly known as Koch Avenue, was renamed Palestine Street and remains so to this day as an eternal reminder of who now stands at the heart of the Iranian Revolution. Khomeini did not simply reverse the diplomatic map. He reversed the very foundations of Iran itself. For the revolutionary government, Israel was not just an enemy state, but a symbol of modern world oppression against Muslims, an embodiment of colonialism in a new guise. In Khomeini's eyes, allowing Israel to exist was tantamount to allowing the Palestinian wound to remain open without remedy. For Israel, this was a nightmare they never expected to come from Iran, the country whose intelligence they had trained, the country they had supplied with weapons, the country they had helped build its technology. Now it stood at the forefront of the call to wipe Israel off the map. And this fear is not irrational, because in a short time, Iran has not only formed an axis of resistance, but has also shown that it is ready to become a real protector of the Palestinian people, both through diplomacy and armed resistance. Ironically, this shift did not occur because Iran changed on its own, but because Israel and the West were too confident that Iran would forever remain tame in their grasp. The 1979 revolution proved otherwise, and for Israel, this was the beginning of a long reckoning, a shadow war that began with historical betrayal and was answered by an ideology that knows no compromise. In 1980, while the world was still reeling from the shock of the Iranian Revolution, a new war erupted, this time coming from the West. Iraq, under Saddam Hussein, attacked Iran. The attack was not just about territory or pride, but was driven by fear. Fear that the Islamic Revolution would spread, that the Shiite uprising would spread to the heart of Sunni Arabia. The war was brutal. 8 years of bloodshed, millions of lives lost. Iran was besieged on all sides, boycotted, embargoed, and shunned by the Western world. But in the darkness, an old hand emerged, and this time it was not to help, but to sell. Israel. Yes, the country that had just been condemned by Ayatollah Khomeini was the country that secretly sold weapons to Iran during the war against Iraq. And this is not a conspiracy theory. It is a fact acknowledged in one of the biggest scandals in modern intelligence, the Iran-Contra scandal. Initially, this deal was controlled by the United States. The White House, under the Reagan administration, was looking for a way to finance the Contras in Nicaragua, while also freeing American hostages in Lebanon. The solution: secretly sell weapons to Iran through a third party. And who was this third party? None other than Israel, which was willing to act as a conduit for the delivery of weapons, training, and military spare parts needed by Iran. Even more surprising, according to an investigative report by the New York Times, between 1981 and 1986, Israel sent more than $500 million worth of weapons to Iran, including Tau anti-tank missiles, ammunition, and fighter jet components. Why? Because Israel had a cold calculation. If Iraq won, Saddam would become a giant force on their border. And that was far more dangerous than a newly risen revolutionary Iran. In Israel's defense logic, it was better to strengthen a weak Iran than to allow Iraq to grow too powerful. But how ironic. The weapons that Israel sold to Iran at that time may today be used against Israel itself, either directly or through resistance groups such as Hezbollah. This is a chapter of history that is rarely discussed in public discourse. When Israel helped prolong the life of a regime, that it now calls an existential threat, not out of love, but out of cold geopolitical calculation. However, like all dirty deals in history, it eventually blew up in the faces of those involved. Iran gained time, Iran gained technology, Iran gained war experience. And when the war with Iraq ended in 1988, Iran was no longer the same. They were no longer a submissive nation. They were a nation trained by blood, equipped by betrayal, and shaped by the desire to survive in a world that wanted to see them destroyed. That is why today, when Israel complains that Iran is too strong, too militant, too armed, history responds with a wry smile. Weren't those your weapons once? At the end of the Iran-Iraq War in 1988, the world hoped that Iran would retreat, weaken, and return to being a backward, isolated country. But it was from the ruins of destruction that Iran built a new power, not only in terms of weapons, but also influence. Iran realized it could not stand alone, so it planted seeds of influence, forming a network known as the Axis of Resistance. From Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, Shiite militias in Iraq, to Hamas in Palestine, all receive support, training, and logistics from Tehran. Iran did not invade countries, but it built loyalty. Militarily, Iran is strengthening its ballistic missile, drone, and air defense capabilities, all developed independently because international embargoes have closed the arms trade. In silence and under pressure, Iran has become a self-sufficient and resilient country, with unconventional warfare strategies that its enemies do not possess. But for Israel and America, there is one thing that is even more worrying. Iran's rise is accompanied by an increase in its nuclear capabilities. The narrative that Iran will build a nuclear bomb is constantly being voiced. But from Iran's side, this narrative is not only considered slander, but a tool to undermine Iran's influence. Iran has long stated that its nuclear program is intended for energy and medical research, but the world, especially Israel, does not care. Strangely, however, while the world continues to pressure Iran, they never touch a country that has de facto had nuclear weapons since the 1960s. That country is Israel. Whenever Iran is mentioned, one word is never left out: nuclear. Israeli politicians have repeatedly raised cartoon bombs at the UN podium, warning the world that Iran is just weeks away from making weapons of mass destruction. The United States has echoed this sentiment, calling Iran a global threat. But has anyone ever asked, why is only Iran being targeted? Because the reality is that Israel already has nuclear weapons, even long before Iran had uranium enrichment machines. According to a report by the Federation of American Scientists, Israel has between 80 and 400 nuclear warheads, hidden in underground silos in the Negev desert, on Dolphin submarines, and on Jericho missiles that can reach Tehran and Europe. But there is something even more ridiculous than the number. Israel is not a member of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. This is an agreement that regulates the spread of the ability to make or possess nuclear weapons to new countries. Israel openly refuses to open its doors and allow international inspections. It has never admitted to having atomic bombs, but it has never denied it either. And what's even crazier, they have never been sanctioned by anyone. Meanwhile, Iran is a member of the NPT. Iran signed the treaty, opened some of its facilities for inspection and monitoring. Iran began restricting access after the United States itself withdrew from the nuclear deal in 2018 under Donald Trump. So who should the world really fear? The world is blind, or pretending to be blind. When Israel has atomic bombs, they remain silent, but when Iran enriches uranium for civilian energy, they make a fuss. This injustice has led Iran to believe that as long as the world system is controlled by unjust countries, The only way to survive is to fight back or be destroyed, especially after their nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was assassinated in 2020 in a long-range assassination operation strongly suspected to have been carried out by Israel's Mossad using armed robots. For Iran, this was not just an attack, but a message. You must not advance. So from that day on, they stopped playing in the arena of unequal diplomacy. They started playing in the arena of power. "45 years after Khomeini expelled the Israeli ambassador from Tehran, Iranian missiles finally crossed the skies of the Middle East. But this time, it was not through proxies, not through shadow forces. For the first time in modern history, Iran attacked Israel directly from its own territory. April 13th, 2024, became an indelible mark in history. Hundreds of drones and missiles were fired from Iran, targeting military bases and sensitive areas in Israel, in retaliation for Israel's assassination of Quds Force Commander Mohammad Reza Zahedi in Damascus. The United States immediately panicked. Tel Aviv was restless, but in many parts of the Muslim world, the narrative changed. Iran was no longer seen as an aggressor, but a symbol of resistance. The first country to dare to say, enough is enough. The country that dared to show that Israel was not untouchable. Israel retaliated, of course. Limited attacks were carried out on the Isfahan region. But the scale of the attacks, as many analysts said, was more symbolic than strategic, because Israel knows that one step further could trigger an uncontrollable regional inferno. And this is where we are today, the year 2025. As the shadow of World War hangs over the desert and the ruins of cities, Iran, once armed and financed by Israel, now stands before it as its most feared enemy. Not out of mere hatred, but out of historical grudges that have never been redeemed. History is a long game, and sometimes it has a way of mocking its players. Israel once saw Iran as a friend, then turned it into a tool, then discarded it like a broken doll. But the doll rose. It learned. It got angry. It survived. Today, the world witnesses one question echoing across the global political landscape. Will Iran be the beginning of the apocalypse, or the end of single-power dominance in the Middle East? The answer has not yet come, but one thing is clear. Israel's most feared enemy today is its own creation.